Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dana.
Who's that over there?
Nobody.
I don't even have a chair over there for that person, do I?
No, you took it out
Still
for
in the
poker,
poker
right?
room.
Yeah. This week we're doing what, Dana?
Romancing the Stone.
Ooh. Released March 30th, 1984. Rated PG. An hour and 46 minutes. Give it back to me. Directed by Robert Zemeckis. I expected more from Robert Zemeckis. I really did. What's his top four, Andy?
Back to the Future?
Yes.
Back to the Future 2.
No.
Any other Back to the Futures?
No.
He won the Oscar for, oh shit, he directed Forrest Gump.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
terrible
that.
Fucking movie.
Horrible movie. I didn't watch it, and I will stick by that.
You didn't watch it. How do you know it's horrible?
I know it's horrible.
telling
Just
you
by
it's horrible.
looking at the trailer, you can tell it's horrible.
My dad hated that movie too.
Yeah.
When it came out,
Oh
he
my
went to
God.
see it. He's
I
like,
agree with
that was a horrible movie.
I saw that not in the theater, but like when it came out immediately on video, like in whatever year that was, 94 or something like that. And I remember like
give me the Oscar.
me and my roommates were like watching it. We're like halfway through. We're like, did we rent the wrong movie? Like, is this the movie that everybody's crowing over and it got the best picture over? Was that the year Pulp Fiction came out? It got best picture over Pulp Fiction and Shawshank. I know your feelings on Shawshank.
That's another movie.
I love Shawshank.
Oh, so do I.
Overrated,
But the fact that Forrest Gump won best picture over those two movies is an
ridiculous.
indictment on the Oscars.
Mac says he loves this movie, and he stood by it when I said, "You still stand by it?" He said, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay."
I did. When it came out, I went to the movie theater. I enjoyed it. I liked it. But now that time has gone by, it's not something I'd watch again.
I'm so
I don't like
happy
it.
that
However,
it came true
if
for me,
Shawshank Redemption is on TBS, like it always is, or whatever that channel is now, I'm
Skip
watching
right
it.
by it.
Oh man, I'm stopped. I always get I get pissed nowadays. I'm like, God damn it! I have things to do today, and it's only the beginning. I'm like, I'm stuck here for 2 hours.
That's it. You're stuck. That's such a good movie.
What else did Robert Zemeckis direct? I don't remember anything else of his besides Back to the Future.
Well,
Forrest
there are
Gump.
two movies you'll know.
Yeah, oh
You'll
yeah.
know when I
I mean,
say
he's one of Spielberg's boys. He was like,
Contact
okay, Jodie Foster and Matt McConaughey.
and Flight. Denzel Washington.
Oh,
where he had
Oh,
to
that
sing
movie
upside
was
down.
so good.
I never saw that.
First
movie.
of all, the plane crash scene, which obviously you know
I've
that's
seen
there.
that. Yeah.
That was intense.
Does he turn the plane like upside down?
It goes upside down.
Before Sully did it.
And then you see like
That was the 15th anniversary of that today or something like
Was
that.
it really?
The Sully,
Oh my
Hero of
God.
the Hudson.
Sully Sullenberg.
Hero. He saved his own life. He's like, he landed the plane to save
That maybe
himself.
just made me think of Bones and All because there was a guy in his name Sully. You don't like Sully, do you? You got to watch that movie. It's on Prime.
All right.
It's on
All
Prime.
right.
What was the other one? Contact. Jodie Foster.
Yes.
I saw that in the theater. Not a fan of that movie either.
You want to read the
Yeah.
description since I hated this movie?
A mousy romance novelist sets off for Colombia to ransom her kidnapped sister. Actually, she's not ransoming her, but whatever. And soon finds herself in the middle of a dangerous adventure hunting for treasure with a mercenary rogue. Other one, Joan Wilder, a mousy romance novel. I think I have mousy romance novel in my notes too. A mousy romance novelist receives a treasure map in the mail from her recently murdered brother-in-law. Meanwhile, her sister Elaine is kidnapped in Colombia, and the two criminals responsible demand that she travel to Colombia to exchange the map for her sister. Joan does, and quickly becomes lost in the jungle after being waylaid by Zolo, a vicious and corrupt Colombian cop
Zolo.
who will stop at nothing to obtain the map. There, she meets an irreverent soldier of fortune named Jack Colton, who agrees to bring her back to civilization. Together, they embark upon an adventure that could straighten out that could be straight out of one of Joan's novels.
Sorry, I put you on the spot
I
there,
stumbled
yeah.
on the easy words and got irreverent and stuff like that correct. I was like,
Well,
usually
you
I like to read
mentioned
something first.
the map.
Yeah.
The map made me roll my eyes when she opened. I'm like, oh my God, that's such a
Like the Goonies map?
Yeah, like that's grow up. Like that's not a grown up treasure map. I don't.
Is there a real thing of a treasure map? Like,
I don't
why?
know, but that wasn't it.
Why would you bury your treasure ever? Like, I don't understand
know.
that concept. Like,
I know.
I guess back then there weren't banks you could put stuff in, but why would you put it somewhere not by you? Wouldn't you want to keep it safely by you?
You would think so,
This goes
yeah.
back to I think we had that conversation during Yellowbeard. Like, why was there? a buried treasure to begin with.
Yeah.
The tagline for this movie: "She's a girl from the big city. He's a reckless soldier of fortune. For a fabulous treasure, they share an adventure no one could imagine or survive."
Except everybody survived.
Yeah, right.
Except Zolo.
So let's
Spoiler.
get into this cast. Michael Douglas as Jack Colton.
At his most hotness. Like, this is like the thing when you think of
Yeah.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
This is it.
This is not our first Michael Douglas movie, did we?
Shit.
Did we do something with him or no? Am I mistaken?
If we did, I'm misremembering what it was.
I guess
don't
I'm misremembering
remember.
too.
I don't remember doing Michael Douglas.
You're right.
He's
No.
like one of those guys that, like, I don't know if I've seen a lot of stuff with him because he was always doing those, like,
I think his stuff comes after this. Romancing the Stone is in his top 4.
but it's like Fatal Attraction, Basic Instinct, like those kinds of
And
What
then
was the first one you said?
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction is in his top 4.
What's
yes.
the one
Basic
where he
Instinct
like
isn't.
loses his mind because McDonald's won't give him
Falling
a
Down.
breakfast?
Falling Down. Great
Yeah.
movie.
That's
Yeah.
a good movie, but it's not in his top 4. Yeah, Falling Down.
What
I like
about the
that.
game?
The Game. What
That's
a
in
such
his
a good
terrible
movie.
movie.
I like that
Oh,
movie.
I
Look
hate
at that.
that.
That is so funny.
Like I watch it if it's on. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch it.
That's with Sean
I
Penn,
like
right?
it.
Sean Penn's his brother?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, my God. What
It's
is
so funny. You both said the opposite.
I
It
hear
is a
that
ridiculous.
I hear that
definitely,
concept.
definitely a ridiculous movie. Like you could not get away with that today. But with
Michael-
technology. But I thought it was fun. I liked it.
Michael Douglas did that HBO show. It was really good. Behind the
Yes.
Candelabra, where he
Oh,
played
Liberace,
Liberace.
right? Yeah, I never saw that. I always meant to see that.
So
That was
good,
good.
dude. That was
Yeah,
really good.
I watched
And
it
who's-
too. It was
who
really
else is
good.
that? Matt
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 Damon.
Damon's in
Matt
it, and
Damon.
Rob Lowe.
That's
Lowe.
right. Rob Lowe
Rob
was
Lowe's
his
a doctor.
the one who did all the surgeries,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
And he's got his face is all
Yeah.
pulled back and everything. So good, dude.
How do
Really
they do
good.
that, like, not actually doing it? Like, I guess
Yeah,
that's
I don't
makeup
know.
and maybe
And
CGI
another-
or
That's
whatever.
why
The
people
last
get
one- I'm sorry,
at
go ahead.
Oscars for that, you know,
Yeah.
because of how good
Yep.
they could do that. But yeah.
The last in his top 4 was Wall Street.
I
sure,
forgot. Yeah.
Gordon
Okay.
Gekko. Yeah, I remember, like, when this came out and everybody was like, oh, my God, Michael Douglas. I'm like, do I know who that is? I mean, I was only 14 when this came out, but
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who that is. Like, he made no impression on me before
That's
I
because
saw this
everybody
movie.
older than us, the generations, knew Kirk Douglas,
Yeah.
and then they're saying, "Oh, that's his son."
And
you
mean,
know.
Michael Douglas
spitting
had to have
image
been-
of Kirk.
He had to have been like 35 at least in this, right? I mean, he's got to be at least 75 now, 40 years later. So
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
He might have
I
even
didn't
been-
look up his age.
He might have
on
even
this,
been
yeah.
40 at this point. So he had to have had a career before this movie. I don't
Yeah.
know what that career was. I have no idea of anything that Michael Douglas did before this movie. I'm sure the things he did. I don't know what they are.
He did things.
He did things. He did things.
He reminded me like his look in this movie and why people found him so attractive reminds me of the same reason people found Sawyer from Lost so attractive.
Okay.
It's that dirty, shaggy hair,
Yeah,
like
I see that.
arms, you know, out of the vest type of situation.
Michael Douglas did 98 episodes of The Streets of San Francisco.
Oh,
so
okay. That's where you got
What
to
He was
start.
doing a lot of TV first
Oh.
in the 70s, early 70s. Then it looks like he started making movies like The China Syndrome. He was in 79.
Okay.
Coma was 78. Romancing the Stone.
I remember those. I remember my mom reading those books. I remember that book Coma. It was thick.
Yeah, because it's like Romancing the Stone is the only movie he did for 84, and then he only did one movie in 85.
Which was the
Jewel of
sequel,
the Nile,
right?
yeah.
So maybe I guess this is kind of like his breakout, right?
Oh,
guess it is, yeah.
I was looking up his age. That's what I forgot to look up. He was born 44, so he was 40.
Okay. Wow. So he's
39,
turning
40,
He's
yeah.
turning 80 this year.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. Oh yeah. My mom's 80. My
And
mom's
he
43.
has
Okay. Yeah.
throat cancer or mouth
He
cancer?
had it. I don't know if he still has it. I mean,
Right?
that was
Oh, I don't
years
know.
ago. So
He
I
had,
don't know if
he got it from Catherine Zeta-Jones.
that's what he says.
Yeah.
It wasn't the 40 years of smoking.
No.
It was his wife's box that got it. Gave it
Yeah.
to him.
He lived a
I
healthy
forgot
life.
he said
He was
that.
very healthy other than that.
Oh my God. Has he
Do you think
retired?
she would be like, dude, really? Really? You're
yeah,
saying that about
come
me?
on.
I don't know if he's retired, if he's done anything.
I couldn't tell you if he's done it. Oh, well, he's
Ant-Man,
the
right?
Ant-Man.
Sure, he's done the Ant-Man
That's
movies
right.
recently, yeah.
Oh, so I guess and he looks better in those. Like he looks
Yeah,
good.
CGI,
Okay.
they CGI in that.
Have him stand next to Michelle Pfeiffer. She'll tame down his
Yeah.
ugliness because Michelle Pfeiffer still looks smoking hot for a 60-year-old or whatever
Is he,
she
still,
is.
is he still with Catherine Zeta-Jones?
I
Or did
think
they
so,
get
yeah.
divorced? They're
Yeah.
still together, right? Yeah.
Yep.
She was like, you said my vagina gave you cancer. We were getting divorced today.
Joan Wilder was played by Kathleen Turner. She's a handsome woman.
She was gorgeous. I thought she was really
I
pretty
don't
in
think
this.
I never found her pretty. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
she like dolled up in this, at first when she's like crying at the beginning, I was like, yeah,
No for
nothing.
me.
I found that weird that her and her agent were both crying at the endings of these romance
the
novels.
first thing I put in my notes is she's crying over a book she wrote.
Yeah,
Did she
like-
not know the ending
I
until
know.
she typed it up there?
I don't get people who cry over like
And you
love
know who that
stories. I
was,
just
right?
don't. I sure do.
Her publisher, yeah.
When I first saw her, I was like, Tara and I both at the same time, like, oh my God, I've never seen her young. I really
And
don't
she
think
wasn't
I've
that
ever
young
seen
here.
her
And
young.
She's still
just like
married
35.
to
Sarah Paulson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like 79 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was almost 40 in this too. So when you say young, I guess relatively speaking, yes.
I've
young.
always known her as an older woman.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's try Kathleen Turner's top 4.
Oh, I have so many. One,
Man,
I'm not sure if it was her or Sybil Shepherd.
Sybil Shepherd.
Peggy Sue got married?
That is Kathleen Turner.
Okay.
And is in her top 4, yeah.
Okay. That was great. I love that movie, Nicolas Cage. That was
Yep.
a great movie.
Yeah.
Of course, I haven't seen it since I was a child, Andy. So if you hate it,
I never saw
I remember that
You never
movie.
saw it?
No,
Okay.
I remember that
never
movie
saw it.
being good too.
Yeah,
I
it
like
was
that
fun.
movie, yeah.
I don't know a lot of Kathleen Turner. I really don't.
think I do.
All right, so Romancing the Stone
My
is in
mom's
there.
an axe murderer.
So I married an axe
So
murderer,
I married
right?
an no,
Michael
no.
Myers?
No.
Michael
My
Myers?
mom is my mom's a killer. My mom is going to
Blank mom.
mom, psycho mom, killer mom, serial mom.
Serial mom.
Oh, I was gonna get there.
That is in her top 4.
I don't know that
It
one at
is.
all.
Yeah, so Romancing the Stone, Peggy
Okay.
Sue Got Married, Serial Mom, and then
The
the other
sequel?
one. No, the other
Oh.
one is a erotic thriller.
A Body Heat or something
Yeah,
like that?
Body
yeah.
Heat.
Oh, I never heard of
okay.
that.
I remember that when that came out, that was a big deal because
Yeah.
I guess she was all naked in it. I never saw it, but like,
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
What was that movie? Vi versus Wachowski.
Wachowski.
Yes,
Yeah.
wasn't
Was
she?
that her?
That was her.
I think it was.
I mix her and from that era, Sybil Shepherd up all the time. I don't know why,
interesting.
but I do.
I
Okay.
only know Sybil Shepherd from Moonlighting, so that was after all this
Yeah.
stuff. So I only know Sybil
Yeah.
Shepherd from that. But it's funny because Kathleen Turner was also in, very unflatteringly, Dumb and Dumber 2, the sequel with Jim Carrey and Jeff
Yeah.
Daniels. Because
I got another role that was very unflattering for her.
Friends.
Yeah,
That's right,
Chandler's,
Chandler's mom.
dad. Chandler's dad.
Yeah, Chandler's dad.
But she is in Dumb and Dumber 2, which I am in no way recommending. I remember the boys wanted to go see it, so I took them, and
Yeah.
there were a couple laughs. But I mean, she is horrid looking in it.
Yeah,
and
that boys come on and, like,
they keep making jokes about how ugly she
say that
is.
you
and-
made us go to see that movie.
man. No, because it
They
was
had
like
to defend
it was like that
herself. They're
same.
like, "You wanted to see
It was
that."
like that same era where I took him to see Jack and Jill because
Ooh.
I told him I didn't want to see that, and I said, "Let's go."
You
see
told them it was rated R.
I said it's rated R. Let's go see the Muppet movie, the new Muppet movie with Jason Segel. And
Oh, that would have been much better.
We got to the theater, and Logan's like, "It says PG-13." I'm like, "Fuck, you can read?" I'm like, "Damn." All right, let's go see Jack
Yeah.
and Jill. Worst movie experience of my
believe
life
it.
ever.
I believe
ever.
it. Tara's nieces went through a phase when they were very, very little, like 4 years old, where they would watch that movie all the time.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Like, as far as Adam Sandler movies go, and that's saying a lot, it is the worst
Wasn't
one.
Al Pacino in that?
Yes,
Yeah.
as Al Pacino.
Oh,
as
my
Al
God.
Pacino.
That's the most ridiculous
Because
part.
Yeah.
he starts dating the female version, the
yeah.
Jill, because they're sitting courtside at a Knicks game, and they bump into each other at the Knicks
Nice.
game, and it's Al Pacino as Al Pacino. Best line in the entire movie. The only good line in the movie is she comes home to his apartment. He's got his Oscar sitting there, and she's like, "Oh, you got one of those?" He's like, "Yeah, only one. You'd think I'd have more." And I was like, "That's kind of funny, but
That is pretty good.
it's only funny because you know who Al Pacino
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh God, please, Al, what are you doing?"
Playing, I thought he was very underused in this movie. Playing Ralph was Danny DeVito. He was not used enough.
Did he produce this, or was he like somehow behind the scenes in this?
I don't remember
didn't
seeing
look in
his
I
the
didn't
name
see
in
his
the-
name either, and you don't have to look it up because I feel like he might have directed The Jewel in the Nile. This is right at the time where
He might have had something to do with War of the Roses too.
Oh,
possibly.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's where all three of them are in it again. Yeah, War of the Roses.
Oh, really?
was-
But it's not part of this.
no.
Okay.
It's a trilogy. These 3 movies are all together.
But I don't think that had anything. That's not Joan Wilder.
they're not all
and-
linked together.
Okay.
No, but they're
It's the
all
3 of them
yeah.
are together. Yeah. But I think he might have directed. You're right. I think that's the one he directed because this is about the time when Danny DeVito's not going to be. You're not going to see him for a while because he's going to be behind the camera for a while. But man, you cannot look at Danny DeVito, and I mean nowadays. I know he was Louis. I know he did all those movies with Arnold, but man, he he is Frank from It's Always Sunny. When you see him, I'm like, what would Frank do in this situation? Oh my god.
Yeah, he directed The War of the Roses.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And he plays Gavin D'Amato in that one. She plays.
Sounds like a made-up name.
They play Barbara and Oliver Rose.
Yeah, I saw that movie one time. That
Or
was
the Roses.
Yeah.
Get it?
I never saw it.
Yeah.
I did. I remember that one.
It's like a married couple that has
Yeah.
a very ugly divorce,
Bad,
but like
yeah.
a silly divorce. Like they're trying to kill each other. in the
That
house
was
and
actually rated
yeah.
R.
nonsense is happening. What's that?
That one's actually rated R.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There might be some F-bombs or something like that in there.
That's probably what happened in that one, yeah. Do you want to try Danny's top 4?
Matilda.
Matilda is in his top
it?
4, yes.
Come on.
I'm pretty sure he had something to do with that movie. That movie's great. I watched it as an adult
That's with
many
the little
times.
girl, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Is It's Always Sunny in there?
No.
The thing the guy's been doing for
Yeah.
it's 4
Cheers.
movies.
It's 4 movies.
It's 4
Oh,
movies.
four movies.
So not Taxi either.
Nope.
Interesting. Is it
Twins?
Twins?
No.
Or the other one he did with him, Junior?
No. Both are good movies, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Neither one of those either.
All right, so
huh?
it's Matilda, and what was? Did we guess one already, or just
No.
Matilda?
Just Matilda so far.
Is it Romance in Stone, Jewel and Isle, or War of the Roses?
War of the Roses, yes.
Okay.
That's in there. Oh, Jesus. Was it
He
his
directed it, that's
Was it
why.
his acting or is it directing? You don't know,
doesn't
probably.
say,
yeah.
yeah.
I feel like I
man.
don't know his movies, but I probably
How about-
will once you say them.
Was he in Ruthless People? I know Rhea Perlman was in that. Ruthless People.
Throw Mama from the Train.
Throw him off the train. Great call.
Nope and nope.
Oh, Ruthless People. He was in that. Yes, he was.
I'm going to
Bette
give them to
Midler's-
you. Batman Returns.
Oh my God!
fuck
I
yeah, he's
thought
the
about that
Penguin.
last night when I watched
Damn,
it.
I totally forgot.
Oh
he was
my
even-
God!
forgot he
I
was-
know.
And L.A.
Confidential.
Confidential. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he's the National Enquirer guy. He's the reporter.
He's the
Man.
Harvey Levin.
He gets the shit beat out of
I'm
him.
a
in that
lawyer.
movie. James Cromwell beats him to death. Oh my
Oh
god!
my God.
Jesus, great movie though. L.A. Confidential is a all-time great movie. And he was great in it.
Playing Ira was Zach Norman.
Who looked like someone
Ira.
I've seen, and I couldn't tell you what
Wait,
I've seen him in.
who was Ira again?
His brother.
Oh,
Who kept
right,
saying,
right.
"Look at the snapper on that one."
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
Should he,
Stop
does he,
saying
does
that.
he
It looked
want
like
to
he
be?
had a full head of hair, though, didn't
Yeah.
I was like, does he want to be saying choppers, but he's saying
Yeah.
snappers? Like, what's he?
I guess.
like,
Because
They're not-
about the alligators?
Yeah,
Is that
like,
because
I was
they
like-
snap? Is that why?
I
Because
don't
they-
know,
think
but I
he's-
wouldn't say that. I'd say that about a turtle,
Yeah.
not an alligator.
I think they were trying to be in salacious. He's like snappers.
They,
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
those
all right,
alligators
whatever.
were so scary looking, weren't they?
It's were they alligators or crocodiles?
I think he says crocodiles
Crocs,
at one
right,
yeah.
time. Yeah, but who knows?
They might. Who knows if they were even real crocodiles? It could have been
Yeah.
alligators, and I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
I forget the.
Well, one you see,
Is one easier?
one you see after a while, one you see later.
That's true.
What the hell's that?
After a while, see you later.
Oh,
That's how you tell the difference.
see you later.
One you see
alligator.
later, one you see after a while.
crocodile.
That's like a 5-year-old joke. You never heard that joke?
no,
You never heard see you later,
I still
alligator?
think I get it. Oh, of course I've
But
heard
someone
that.
says, see you later, alligator, and it says, yeah, not for
Oh,
a
after
while,
a while,
crocodile.
And then someone goes, "Oh, how do you tell the difference between a crocodile and an alligator?" And you go, "One you see in a while, one you see later."
I'm glad you explained that to me because I was really feeling dumb, and now I feel dumber that you explained it to me. I didn't get the joke.
It's a dad joke.
I thought it was one of those kinds
I'm
of things.
embarrassed
I
I
thought it was
told
one of
it.
those kinds of things where, like, you do the "My very earnest mother just served me," like when you're trying to remember the planets
Oh,
in order.
yeah.
I thought you were doing one of those kinds of
Or
things.
how to
that
spell
actually,
arithmetic. Do you remember that one?
no, I don't know
No.
that one.
How to spell arithmetic is a rat in Tom's house might eat Tom's ice cream.
Oh my god, I've never heard that one
What?
at all.
That spells arithmetic.
Really?
Yeah, a rat in Tom's house might eat Tom's ice cream.
Well, that's how. And then there's the. Okay, I'm not gonna say it.
No, you can't.
So it's a community thing. So to remember, like, genus, species,
Phylum, family, all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's Pierce says, "Please come over for gay sex," and then, but then Shirley goes, "Why not? Why gay sex?" And
Or
he's
that
like,
group or something.
"Yeah," and he's like, "You could just say, please come over for great sex," and he's like, "Well, then that's not funny," or something like that. I don't know. Then that's how I remembered it. So then when I was back in school a couple years ago. And I was coming up to that. I'm like, I'm gonna ace
You
this.
got this.
I'm gonna remember this.
Thank you,
every
community.
time.
it's gay
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
Did we do his top four? I'm only gonna do his top two.
Who's this? Ira?
Yeah,
I've never
seen
him
Romancing the
before.
Stone and Cadillac Man. That was
Oh, Cadillac man.
Robin Williams.
I don't think I ever saw
I
it. I
never
know
heard of
I've
it.
heard the name, but I never saw it. I guess he didn't do much. Is he?
Yeah.
Do you know if he's even still alive? Like
He is alive because
Is he?
I don't have his death notice here. Yeah,
he didn't die of
Snapper?
natural causes.
Yeah, AIDS.
AIDS.
Alfonso Arau played Juan.
Who was Juan?
Juan's the one that's chasing him, isn't he? The one that has the mustache.
No, that's Zolo.
No, that's Zolo.
Zolo, yeah.
Juan is the guy with My Little Pepe. What is he called? My Little Mule. That's Juan.
He was in Three Amigos.
I was gonna say he's El Guapo from Three Amigos. Did you ever see Three Amigos? Chevy Chase,
yeah.
Martin Short.
But
He's the
I
bad
can't-
guy. The bad guy in
I
that.
still can't picture who he was in this one.
He's the one with the car. He's like,
He's the one
John
who-
Wilder. I read to the
Yeah,
town
yeah,
folks
okay.
all the time.
All right. Gotcha.
And then,
which was absolutely ridiculous.
That was hilarious. That was really fun. And then the rest of the guys are like, oh, now put their guns away. Okay.
They all ran away. Goodbye.
in Three Amigos, he has that great line. He's like, "Would you say I have a plethora of presents?" And he's like, "Yes." Do you know what plethora means? Oh man.
Playing Zolo. Now he died in 2022, age 81, from
AIDS?
natural causes.
I don't know what's funny. I don't know why
now,
I laughed that he died of AIDS. but-
Zolo, he had 278 Mexican credits.
Wow.
So he's a big Mexican star. But
He's not Colombian?
exactly. That's another thing I was going to bring up later. But they have a lot of Mexicans in this
Yeah.
playing Colombians. And then they didn't even
Appropriation.
tell them to talk or act Colombian. And they acted like Colombia was like not even a third world country when they show up there and it's like the size of a bus terminal.
Well,
Yeah.
That's
my
a country. There's over 1.5 million people in Colombia.
my
you know?
biggest question is, why didn't she fly directly to Cartagena? Like, that's a big city.
Yeah.
There's probably like
There's
a
a
million
there's an
people in
airport in
Cartagena.
Cartagena,
Why didn't she
yes.
fly there instead of taking a bus? Like, that bus?
That
like,
bus was ridiculous. I'm sorry.
The chickens and the pig. Or I guess he had the birds. I'm sorry. Maybe was there chickens on there?
No, I think there was a
But
chicken.
There was definitely
Yeah.
a pig on
yeah,
there.
oh, yeah, for sure.
And you had Holland Taylor playing Gloria.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that she's from like an LA Law or one of those kinds of shows, which I
I
never
never saw, yeah.
But I know her most as
The Practice is the show. we're thinking
okay.
of,
That's
yes.
I guess yeah, and she's in Legally Blonde. She's
Yes,
the head.
that's where I know her from.
Dean at
The
Harvard.
dean.
She's
She's
the one
also
that
in The Wedding Date.
I don't know that one. I don't think.
And can you tell me how many episodes of 2.5 Men she was in?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, she was in that show?
Is she their
I
dad
don't
or
even know
mom?
how-
She's
the mom.
Charlie and John Cryer's mom.
Oh,
yeah.
is she? Okay, I've never seen 2.5
I don't
Men.
even know how many seasons it was, how many
That's
episodes.
been about 12 seasons, I believe. Yeah.
With full
One or
seasons?
two seasons were with
Ashton
Ashton
Kutcher.
Kutcher.
Oh,
Man, I didn't even know she was. I've never seen that show. She was in 50 episodes.
80.
101 episodes. I believe there's
Wow.
like over 200 episodes in
Yeah,
that
I
show.
guess it went on for that long. It would
That
be, right?
show just, I would
John
see a
Cryer has
commercial
a
and be
new
like,
show
there's
on
not
now.
chance in hell I'll watch that.
John Cryer's
Yeah.
a new one.
Yeah, and someone else is in it. I saw a commercial
Yeah,
for it
the
the other
guy
day.
from Scrubs.
Yes.
Donald Faison.
Donald Faison?
From Scrubs, yeah.
He's Murray. I'm
Murray
clueless.
from-
Clueless. That's
yes,
right. Yeah.
of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He had braces then,
Before he had
too.
his teeth done. Yeah, I was going to say, because
This
he had
is
little
where-
teeny tiny teeth.
He's the owner. I watched an episode. He's the owner of the Boston Celtics.
This is the John Cryer show, the new
yeah,
one?
John,
Who is John
Cryer
Cryers?
is not the owner.
Oh, okay.
But the owner of the Boston Celtics is
Donald Faison.
Donald Faison. Yeah.
Faison, yeah.
And John Cryer's married to this lady. They get divorced. She's dating Trey now, who is the owner of the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
But they have a special marriage where the divorce is they still share this house when they watch the kids.
Oh, you're right.
So
Okay.
it was interesting. I watched one or two episodes. I watched the one episode. There's like 2 or 3 out there, but I was just like, I was on Peacock. I watched the movie or whatever, and then it's like, oh, what's this? And I checked it out.
Okay.
Because his head is so bald now. It's like,
Oh, really?
It's weird.
It's a weird
because he's got the
bald,
big
though.
thick beard. Too. He's got a
Yeah.
big thick beard. And he's got a bald head. I'm like, that's not John Cryer. That's a weird look for him.
it's not right.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, I gotta watch this.
I mean, I
Yeah.
respect the guy for shaving their head when they're bald. Like, what do you know?
But some guys it doesn't look right,
It doesn't
and
look
he's
right.
one
Yeah.
of those guys that doesn't
He should
look
have.
right.
I think he should have tried to figure out like a hair
They
system.
have this thing
like,
where-
like Seth MacFarlane.
They
Seth
have this-
MacFarlane's bald. He looks great.
What?
Oh yeah, Seth MacFarlane. I think he was on Conan or something like that, talking about like his.
So he wears a toupee?
nah,
No, you get
it's
this.
like a.
There's this place. If you, I know a guy who does a podcast in New York. He's a cop, but he just did a thing where he went to Turkey. You pay like $5,000 or whatever.
God.
They give you a first class flight to Turkey. They put you up in a 5-star hotel / hospital. They do the procedure in this hotel. You're there for 3 days.
What are they putting a new scalp on your head? What are they
They're
doing?
taking hair and putting it in. It's
so it's like plugs?
It's plugs, but these guys are experts.
I saw Seth MacFarlane recently. He still looked good.
So he has plugs, but now plugs don't grow, right? Or
I
do
guess
they?
not. You probably
It
never have to
depends.
get a haircut
I
again.
think it depends on what you get. There's some that you can get actual hair put in there. Like they take it from your ass. They'll take ass hair, and the reason they take the skin from your. I'm not trying to be gross. They take the skin from your
fascinating.
ass because the hair in your ass continues to grow, but the hair on your head stops growing. So they'll take the skin from your ass and they'll put it onto your head. And then you have hair growing, so it's actual hair growing on your head.
We are such a weird species because, like, we as men,
rumored to have had that done.
John Travolta,
LeBron James.
Oh, LeBron James.
Get the hell out.
He definitely has ass head. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But like,
allegedly, I have to say allegedly.
Why do we grow hair everywhere on our body except the one place we want it for the rest of our lives?
Yeah.
Like I'm getting hair on my back now. I'm like I never had hair on my back now. I'm like now I got head on my hair, so it does or hair on my head doesn't really matter. But it's just so weird. Like
why can't some people can't get like the beard to grow?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Logan. I don't think Logan's shaved yet. Logan's 19. Like he has no facial hair. It's so crazy that he doesn't have facial hair, especially being that he's half Italian.
But then, like 10 years from now, he'll have like a full thick beard or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? Crazy.
Genetics are weird like that.
Oh my god.
Ass head.
Didn't Geraldo get his fat from his butt put in his chin? So they were calling, or in his wrinkles on his face?
Something like the forehead.
Like Botox in his face.
God,
Yeah.
I don't ever want any part of my ass on my face. Ever. Ever.
What was that ass face on South Park? Remember? And when he talked, he farted. It was like,
Ben Affleck.
Oh my God.
Ben Affleck was butt chin or whatever they call him. Yeah.
Playing Elaine was Mary Ellen Trainor. Do you know what she was in?
I know.
I got one thing.
I know
She
one
looks
thing.
very familiar, but I didn't look her up.
She was the psychiatrist in all the Lethal Weapon
That's
movies.
the thing he knows her from.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
know
yes.
her as Mrs. Walsh.
From Beverly Hills?
No, Mrs. Walsh from the Goonies. She's their mom.
Oh, yeah. That's why I recognized her so much. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. Oh, my gosh.
Yep, that's right. She died recently.
Oh, jeez.
2015. She was 63, pancreatic cancer.
Aw,
You don't
that
get better
sucks.
from that.
But she was in all 4 Lethal Weapons, yeah.
Yeah, she was. Did
She
you
was
ever see
also in
those?
Die Hard.
Yeah,
She
and
was
I
the
do
one that,
kind of
like-
remember it, yeah.
Oh, she
Did
was
he
in Die
like
Hard.
her? Mel Gibson's character kind of like
he always
her?
messed with her
He
because
messed
she
with
was
her,
because
okay.
he was suicidal in the first one.
Yeah.
And she was always like, "You got to like come in and see me," and he joked around about his suicide. Like blah, blah, blah. And as those movies got more and more ridiculous with Joe
Yeah.
Pesci and Chris Rock and stuff, it became, she walked into the men's room on him one time to
Okay.
talk to him, that kind of nonsense.
I'm going to go through the rest of the cast rather quickly. I don't have much
Yeah,
here.
I don't know anybody else.
I got Joe Nest. He played the Super. Not known for much other than Remington Steele, an episode of that.
I do have
Hunter.
one other person.
I might have somebody else too. Hold on, let me check here. She played Kimberly Herron played Angelina. She was in Ghostbusters and Beverly Hills Cop 2,
Who's that?
Roadhouse.
Was she the girl in the beginning she was writing about? That she was visualized.
The Western lady.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was who Angelina was because he named the boat that at the end.
That's right. He did.
So
name the
I was like, I think that might have been the character in the book because she eventually turns that story into a book too.
How about Ted White? He played Grogan. Do we know who Grogan was?
Grogan.
But Ted White sounds like a very familiar name.
Ted White is a very familiar name because he played the Jason in Friday the 13th final chapter.
Yes.
That's what I was wondering. Who's Grogan? I couldn't remember who Grogan was.
I don't know.
He died in 2022.
Maybe one of those bodyguard guys or something like that. I don't even know. At the very beginning, there's an old lady walking up the stairs when Joan's
Yes.
walking out.
Was she someone?
No, she's nobody.
Okay.
But she was in a Star Trek movie. She was in Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home.
Is that the whales?
That's the whales one. And Bones, Dr. McCoy gives her, he's in the hospital they're trying to get Chekhov out of the hospital, and she's dying of kidney failure, and they're bringing her in for a dialysis, and Bones is like, it's the goddamn Middle Ages, Jim, and he gives her pills, and she takes them, and they go off on their adventure, and then you see her walking down the hallway, and she's like, I'm cured. Because he cured her with some 24th century medicine. But as soon as she started talking to Joan Wilder, I'm like, damn, I know that voice. Where do I know that voice from? It was from Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home.
That's all for the cast.
Yeah, the cast was actually kind of small because you really were only focusing on 4 people the whole time.
Did you know that studio executives were so sure this film would flop that Bobby Zemeckis was preemptively fired from directing Cocoon? It turned out to be a success, though, and Zemeckis was able to go forward on his own project.
Cocoon, right?
No, he went.
Ron Howard directed Cocoon.
They gave him approval to go on his own project.
Which would be Back to the Future. Okay.
Oh.
So he was going to do Cocoon.
Interesting.
He got fired from Cocoon, but then this was a hit, and he did Back to the Future.
Because Back to the Future is 1,000 times better than Cocoon.
No, I don't know. I'd like to see Zemeckis.
Zemeckis
I'd like
Cocoon?
to see Cocoon. Yeah.
Well, that's true. He didn't get to do it, but for what it came out to be,
Ron Howard was okay.
As a 15-year-old, Cocoon was not a movie I wanted to see, but Back to the Future sure was.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to watch Cocoon now.
No.
Except for Wilford Brimley. That's the only thing so you can go diabetes.
But there's that's Don Amici. It's
a very good cast.
Brian Dennehy, Steve Guttenberg. It's a good cast.
Yeah.
But it's just not a fun movie.
No, it's probably not fun. And the older I get, the more depressed I get being like, this is like 20 years from now. That's me 20 years from now. When that's 70 years away, you're like, that's never going to happen to me. Now I'm like, damn.
That's around the corner.
Like, I'm not making it to like 2050, and that's only 25 years from now. That's sad. This movie so wants to be like Indiana Jones. It's obvious that this is like, this is coming out between this is coming out between Raiders and Temple of Doom. But like that beginning scene with the Western kind of thing, it felt like already they're setting you up for Indiana Jones. And then like it smash cuts to her crying about her stupid book, and it's playing that like early 80s saxophone, which was also in Lethal Weapon. I was like, they're doing two different tones here, because now it's a rom-com.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it became like a rom-com.
Yeah.
The cat.
It didn't know what it was. It didn't know what it wanted to be. It was confused. Yeah.
My memory of this movie was not that it was a rom-com. And last night I'm like, I didn't think this was a rom-com. I thought it was more of an adventure movie. But of course, I haven't seen it since I was 10. But yeah, I was.
And then she wants to go to Columbia. She's got to get to Columbia, and she's there like the next day. I'm like, can you like? That seems like a trip that would take at least a week to prepare.
Also, she went from like, I can't go, I can't.
To her getting off.
All of a sudden, she's
coming out of the airport.
They were originally going to film in Columbia, where the story takes place.
So it's not even filmed in Columbia.
But said, however, life imitated art, and that Columbia also suffered an increase in American kidnapping, so production was moved to Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
Which is so safe.
Yeah.
They moved to Guadalajara.
I was going to say, it's probably safer to film in Colombia nowadays. Okay, so it's in Mexico. Interesting. So that's why all the extras were Mexican. You said that before. There was a reason why all the extras were Mexican. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I got this too. According to Kathleen Turner's memoir, Michael Douglas originally offered the role of Joan to Deborah Winger. They met at a Mexican restaurant to discuss it, but according to Douglas, she ended up biting him. She didn't get the part. So like, Deborah Winger,
she actually physically bit him?
That's what she said. That's what it says. She bit Michael Douglas, and she didn't get the part.
Well, he must have provoked her.
That's what I'm saying.
She's just gonna bite him.
That seems like a weird.
Allegedly,
reaction.
Michael Douglas was raping her. I'm calling it.
I wonder if but Deborah Winger was doing Terms of Endearment right after this. So just like last week,
I'm trying to get us,
Lloyd,
trying to get us to get. I'll get canceled so this podcast can be something.
What's that? Oh, you're going to get us canceled?
Yes, so we can.
Yeah.
But then they'll
Michael
be
Douglas
the previous 177 episodes.
Yes.
I'm so ignorant when it comes to guns. Do shotguns hold that many
I thought
bullets?
the same thing.
Like when he goes down the side of the bus, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, I thought shotguns kind of held like
two
Then he reloads.
Okay.
Then he reloads later.
And then he reloaded, but I was like,
too.
I was like, man, he's got like a lot of bullets in that
I don't
shotgun.
know enough about guns because then
I don't either.
Some of those guns can have more bullets.
Sure, but this is 1984. That gun looked like it was from 1944. I was like, wow. I'm like, I didn't know guns worked like that. But the bad guys in this, on top of Michael Douglas, were stormtrooper level terrible shots. Like, how many times did like the bullet hit like the tree or the water right in front of pew pew? I'm like, they can't hit anybody with those guns. And they were the army.
They got the stormtroopers from Star Wars.
They were definitely stormtrooper level. Yeah.
In the beginning, when she's going around her house, writing her book, crying, wiping her tears, feeding her cat. Did you notice she sniffed the cat food? Like she took a big whiff of the cat food.
Yeah.
I thought that was very weird. And then I had a thought. I'm like,
stinks.
Yeah, And then I had a vision. I was like, I hope that's not what my life turns into in like 20 years. I'm sniffing cat food.
Well, you don't have any cats, do you?
Not yet.
They're dogs. That's it. She's just
Sniff
replacing
dog
cats with
food?
Guess what?
dogs.
Dogs
you know?
will eat anything, so you don't even have to check the
The
smell.
dogs will eat your
like
face when you die, though.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And what was the deal? What's the deal with all the Post-it notes around her apartment? That was really strange, and there was never an explanation
No.
for it. They just
Yeah.
had all the Post-it notes.
Just made her look like a neurotic.
or
Yeah.
like some kind of like shut-in or something like that. Like
Yeah.
all those notes
She
were
had no
probably
toilet
like,
paper,
A
no
shut-in
tissues,
who-
no paper towels.
A shut-in who runs off to Columbia.
Yeah,
and
with her cat.
And
But
apparently was a
she's-
big time seller of
Big time
romantic
seller of romance
books,
novels.
right?
Lives in this tiny apartment with her cat
In New York City.
and acts very straight, like a
You would
cat
think
lady
she'd have
in
a
the
bigger
making,
house.
lonely.
Yeah.
Is she living in the slums?
Is it-
Not that
she's-
she
No,
lives
she
in
was
the
across the
slums.
street
supposed to
from
be successful,
Central Park,
though.
right?
Yeah,
When-
but I feel like she could have. Her apartment would have been more. She would have had more.
Just
She would have
because
had
it's
more
New York
money.
doesn't mean it has to be a shitty apartment. You can have a classy apartment in the 80s
Yeah,
in New York.
So it was a good area, but like even in the 80s, like that, her decor was just
I agree.
crappy.
Yeah.
Like I was really surprised by that.
Did you know Eddie Grant had the song "Romancing
Sure.
the Stone"?
Did
But
you
it-
hear it played at all in this movie?
It did
For
not
5
feature
seconds?
prominently in the film. The guitar solo could be heard in the background of the scene where Joan and Jack enter the house of her fan Juan,
Yeah.
but it wasn't included on the soundtrack album. Although he was
It wasn't
commissioned,
even on the album?
yeah, he was commissioned to write the song for the movie. The filmmakers chose not to use it. When the movie was released and proved to be a big hit, Eddie released the song on his own. One of the video clips produced for the song makes prominent use of footage from various scenes from the film.
So
I don't know this song. I didn't know there was a song. Do I
I'm
know it?
romancing the stone, never leaving your poor heart alone.
No, I don't think I've or I've never heard your rendition of
Well,
it.
ours
but
was off key, I'm sure, but
No, I don't.
and
I didn't know
it wasn't a
this.
duet either.
Yeah.
It was just Eddie Grant.
I never heard the name Eddie Grant before either.
And
Is
neither
he
of us
someone-
is a
Electric
Jamaican
Avenue?
singer,
Oh,
okay?
he sings Electric Avenue.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
no, I never
We're
heard.
going to
that song.
rock down to Romancing the Stone.
That's
But
perfect.
I remember, like, when this came out and that song was, like, big on MTV and stuff like that, and
I
I
don't
saw this movie in
remember
the
it.
theater, I'm like, why aren't they playing that song at the beginning? Like, that
Yeah,
should be... Because I thought
yeah.
the title music was kind of lame, and I'm like, shouldn't this be the Romance in the Stone
I wonder why
song?
they chose not to go with it.
Because I think they wanted to go rom-com-y, because it had rom-com-y music. It had the, like,
Yeah.
saxy kind of...
That's a bad call. whoever
Yeah, I
decided
agree.
that.
I think that set up the movie to be a different thing than what it actually was.
Because that's all the complaints you see about this movie are that they didn't know what they wanted to do with this
Right.
movie. If it's going to be an adventure
Yeah.
flick, if it's going to be the rom-com, putting them both together doesn't make sense. And a lot of people were just like, what is it? You just put a bunch of stuff together. You want it to be Indiana Jones. Obviously, you couldn't do it, but
Yeah.
they didn't even get it like Indy Light, I guess is what they were trying for, or something like that. And I don't think Michael Douglas is the right guy for the jungle. It just doesn't feel like the
He's too
right.
pretty. When they were crossing that rickety bridge, they ended up flying. They
Yeah.
swung
Tarzan
across it.
style.
Tarzan.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be a rickety ass bridge in the next Indiana Jones movie, like weeks after this movie comes out. So
But it's going to be more exciting.
That was more interesting. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
That
Of course,
seems
that
great.
that was great. But I wonder if they.
How about when he he went up the rock, the side of the rock?
First of all,
It
that was a smooth
it was so
rock
flat,
wall.
yeah.
There were no divots, grooves,
Yep.
anything, and he climbed that like it was nothing.
Yep. Insane.
And he could have faster gone around and just
Yep.
gone up the steps.
And she flew across with the vine, and she
Oh,
got all the way
like
across.
she was a professional.
And then his was like, climb up.
It was
And
ridiculous.
when he landed right between her legs, that was the rom-com.
Yeah, that was
course.
rom-com for
It's like,
sure.
Turned out to be a hell of a morning. I wasn't quite sure when a vine crosses a ravine like that, where is it coming from? Because that would have
It should be coming from a tree
It
that's
would have had
above
to be a
it, but they
tree
wasn't
that's on
in.
that side
the
of the
other
ravine,
side,
but it's
yeah.
coming from the other side. If it's
Yeah.
going to push her all the way into the jungle,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that is something. I mean, it's an overgrown jungle. I guess you can have those.
It's
kinds of-
possible,
but she
yeah,
got
but-
lucky that the
yeah.
one that she grabbed was the one.
And
that
then
was
she
just-
sent that one back. Here you go.
and then that was like one of those scenes where like he's like talking to her after they get there, and then a bullet like hits the leaf right
Mm-hmm.
next to him,
Oh,
and they're
and so
like,
it's
"Oh,
like,
let's go." I'm like, "You are being very reckless here. If those guys are getting within that close to shooting you, and they're
Yeah, but you
terrible
know they're
shots."
gonna miss.
Well, Michael Douglas knew they were going to miss. I didn't know they were going to miss when they shot it. I was like,
Yeah.
"You should probably be more
And then
prepared."
you just hear
here."
the boing.
Yeah, as it's hitting a tree or a leaf. Even it's hitting a leaf. It's going pew, like it hitting metal or something like that.
They said in the opening sequence depicting the closing scene of Joan Wilder's latest romance novel, the music uses this theme from How the West Was Won.
That was
1962.
I guess that was setting it up for her having the knife at the end when she threw it at Zolo and he blocked it with the board. Because that's how that's how that girl kills the guy in the book. But
that's right.
But
okay, but I didn't pick up on that.
But who cares?
It's
unnecessary.
Did you see who's on the cover of the Rolling Stone magazine?
No.
September 9th, 1982 edition.
Where was that? In her apartment? Or?
No, it was the Dead Pilot's bag had a Rolling Stone magazine in it. And on the cover of that Rolling Stone
Brothers?
was...
Not the Doobies?
Elvis Costello.
Oh, okay. Because they were talking about the Doobie Brothers. He's like, damn, the Doobie Brothers broke up. I Googled it. I'm like, when did they break up?
Yeah, when was
they broke up in 82.
Oh, okay.
They got back together and stuff like that. But at that point, they had probably been broken up for...
this year, 50th anniversary, or last year.
You mentioned when she threw the knife at Zolo and he caught it. The one thing I hate when they do in movies is when they have women pass out for reasons that no one ever would pass out. She threw the knife, he caught it. She passed out? She fainted?
The sister passed out. Yeah,
she was so horrified by that. Everything you've seen, and you pass out because the knife hit
and
the
it
wood.
was a dramatic pass out, too.
I hate when they do that.
But the best thing
women just don't go around passing out.
The best thing about her passing out was Joan had her head cradled later on, and then Michael Douglas did something. I don't remember now what he did. And she just drops her head. It goes, boom! I'm like, well, now she's unconscious. She just gave her a concussion.
Clint Eastwood, Jack Nicholson, and Christopher Reeve all turned down the role of Jack.
Who was the first? Jack?
Clint, Jack, and Christopher.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood's not doing this movie. Or Jack. I can see Christopher Reeve doing it as a change from Superman, but not those other two.
Kathleen Turner had the same stunt double as Linda Carter from Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Was anyone else?
Also, Sylvester Stallone turned down the role of Jack T. Colton to star in
Rambo.
He regrets the decision to not star in this movie, and he hates the movie that he did.
Rhinestone Cowboy.
Rhinestone. It's just Rhinestone.
It's just Rhinestone?
Yeah, we will be doing that.
We talked about this a couple podcasts ago because I said the same thing. It's not a cowboy, and Jason said it's just Rhinestone.
We'll be doing it this year.
But there's a song, Rhinestone Cowboy.
Rhinestone Cowboy is a song. Yeah, that's Glenn Campbell.
Okay. I never saw it.
Bob Hoskins turned down the role of Ralph.
Wait, Bob Hoskins, who's that? I know him, right?
He's Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love him.
He turned down the Danny DeVito part.
And it's funny because
he could have played that role. Yeah, totally.
They look the same.
Yeah.
Because him and Zemeckis would team up later to do Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I love that movie.
He directed that. That's on his top 4. All right, Zemeckis. Damn it.
And Kathleen Turner provides the role of Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, there you go. You're right.
Wait, she does?
Yeah, she's the voice of Jessica Rabbit.
I did not know that. I've seen this movie so many times. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Interesting. I love that movie.
This was Michael Douglas's first action film. Should have been his last. Excuse me.
I'm trying to think of what else he did as an action guy after it. He didn't really do action movies.
The follow-up, I guess.
Oh,
yeah, but
Paul Newman turned down the role of Jack Colton because he felt there was unnecessary and excessive violence in the movie.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Was there? I mean,
no.
One guy died.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there was some.
Paul's not watching the same movies we are.
No.
But people weren't even getting beat up.
Old at this point. He's
all the shots missed. No one really got beat up. One thing I noticed in the beginning, which really annoyed me, is Michael Douglas was irritated with her while they were going through the jungle, but everything was his freaking fault. He left his car in the middle of the road.
Wow.
That's the reason they got hit.
They weren't in the middle of the road. She distracted the bus driver, and they went off the road into his Jeep.
Yeah, okay. But she wasn't complaining about her shoes. She wasn't complaining her feet hurt.
Well, they weren't getting anywhere.
She still wasn't complaining.
That was awesome when he chopped the heels off.
No, and that would not work. I'll tell you right now, the shoe is still crooked.
Yeah.
He just annoyed me the way he treated her.
He wanted his $350.
Yeah.
Do you know who turned down the role of Joan Wilder to tackle more serious work?
Meryl Streep.
Nope.
I can't wait to hear this.
Not Diane Winger either. We know that.
Jessica
or
Lange.
Deborah Winger.
Oh. Well, she did good.
Yeah. Jessica Lange.
What did she do? What did she do after this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she get an Oscar for Losing Isaiah, I think the name of it was.
I've never heard those
Finding?
two words.
No.
No, she adopts Halle Berry.
She adopts Halle Berry?
No, Halle Berry has a son and gives him up. She adopts the child. So it's like white woman raising, a little black
Meryl
child.
Streep
White
does-
savior?
No.
Meryl Streep adopts the baby? you
No,
said?
Jessica
Jessica
Lange.
Lange.
Oh, Jessica Lange. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Meryl Streep.
I'm pretty sure she got an Oscar, or the movie's Oscar nominated, in its day, whatever. That was a big movie.
Never heard
But that
of it.
also could have
Never
been the
heard
90s, because if Halle Berry was in it,
Yeah.
then it was probably the 90s.
Like, I'm trying to think of what Jessica Lange did in between, like, King Kong
I don't
and
know, but I
American
knew
Horror
her
Story.
so much, though. When she
I knew
came
her
on
from King Kong.
American Horror Story, I was like, oh my God, it's Jessica Lange.
Was she in Kramer versus Kramer? Was
That
she
was
the
Meryl
mom?
Streep.
That was Meryl Streep.
And Jo
right?
Beth Williams. Jo Beth Williams was the
Yes.
girl that he was
Okay, yeah.
cheating on her with.
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
All right, I can't
Okay.
think of the water taxi that Joan Wilder rides to meet Ira is named the Orca. Know what
wow.
else is named the Orca?
I do.
I don't.
Quint's boat in Jaws.
Oh.
Directed by?
Steven Spielberg.
Yep.
Oh, but Spielberg didn't produce this, did he? Ransom and Stone. No, he wouldn't have been involved in this
No.
because he was doing Indiana Jones. I thought one of the actual good things about this movie is fast paced. This
Yes.
movie zips along.
It sure did. I
Because I
agree.
looked and
Let's just look at the flight.
she doesn't meet Michael Douglas until 25 minutes into this movie.
Yeah, that was another thing I had.
And they're having sex.
Yeah.
An hour and 15 minutes. I'm like, they're already having sex. Like she just met him
Yeah.
yesterday. Not that they can't have sex. I just thought it was like in my mind when I remembered this movie, I was like, they're there forever and they
Yeah.
don't hook up till the end. But
Yeah.
it's like halfway through the movie, or maybe not halfway through, but
It definitely was
towards
fast
the
paced.
middle of the movie. Yeah.
I didn't feel like this is dragging.
No.
Now,
that
it
was
was
a
only an
little
hour and
boring,
40
but
minutes,
yeah.
something like
So
that.
when you cut the heel off of a shoe like that, there's no way you can wear that comfortably, right? That
No,
part
because
of the heel.
the shoe
'cause it's still
is like
that,
this.
right? Yeah.
But isn't it now a flat or it's not?
No,
The
because
toes
the
are
sole
the
is
toes are
still
angled
angled.
up.
That's what I was thinking.
So now
yeah.
you're walking stupid.
So it's probably harder to walk without the heels,
Probably. Yeah.
right? So he made it work.
Sure. Probably
Because
would've
now
been better
she's
off
trying to
being
walk on her
barefoot.
tippy
Yeah.
toes. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was all muddy, so it was probably like soft. It's not like walking on like hard dirt.
Also,
Probably-
I mean, she's an idiot for only packing heels.
Well, she thought
So-
she was going to fly.
Yeah, she thought she was-
going
yeah.
right to the car. She was going to be back the next day. Even
Yeah.
though she packed that big suitcase, but
Leslie Ann Warren turned down a chance to even audition for the female lead.
She's like, "Nah, I'm good."
I'm all right.
I don't know. Who is that? Do I know her?
Miss Scarlet.
Yep, from Clue.
Oh, okay. Yep.
When they are escaping the hotel, they stay the night in that hotel where they dance, the sexy dance. I don't know if that's the forbidden dance, the
Yes.
lambada, but they're dancing and then they have sex and they sneak out the back window. But I was like, why? They have no idea that those guys are out there. You see them sneaking out and whatever they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Then they get in the car and he starts to hotwire it to the point where he's got 2 exposed wires in his hand. She's like, why don't you just turn the key? He's like, okay, and it starts. I'm like, you've exposed those wires. They should be connected to something.
Yeah, that makes
Shouldn't
sense.
they be connected to something? I don't know. Maybe that's how cars work, but I would have thought once you have exposed wires, now you cannot start a
Speaking
car with a key.
about cars, when she was leaving somewhere, I forget where she was leaving, but she gets out and that kid wrangles her and steals her car and then drives away.
That's the sister when she
The sister.
when he swings the
Yeah, yeah,
thing
yeah.
and bops her in the
Yeah,
head,
yeah.
knocks
And
her
Buster
out.
Rhymes-
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found that hilarious.
No, it was
I don't know
very
why.
funny. Because the kid
And-
was
yes.
barely able to see over the steering
Yeah.
wheel.
And then the shots where it was clearly an adult man driving the car was great.
Yeah, that's when they kidnapped the sister at the very beginning.
That was the only thing I found amusing.
My favorite part in the entire movie was Danny DeVito rolling down the hill after they get the gem, after they get the stone.
That was probably
And
the best part
And,
of the
and
movie,
they're-
I would
Yeah,
say.
and
yeah.
and he's trying to get him into the car, and he says something. He's like, the police or something, and he turns around to run, and you're focused on Joan and
I just wanted more
him.
Danny DeVito every time
and,
he was
on screen.
And the camera turns around, and you just see Danny DeVito rolling
Yeah.
down the hill. I was like, I'm sure that's not actually Danny DeVito, but just the thought of him rolling down the hill makes me laugh. I figured Frank would do something like that. I had a real hard time looking at Danny DeVito and not always saying like, what would Frank do here? Would Frank be
I
like
agree.
taking
You
orders
don't
from
watch
her?
that though, do you?
Oh, I've
It's
seen.
Always Sunny?
Oh, I saw maybe 4 or 5
You
episodes.
should watch all of it. It's so good, yeah.
So I saw a lot of him, but I agree. This movie would have been much better if there was more Danny DeVito in it.
Sure.
For sure.
On a budget of $10 million, this movie made $86 million
Wow, $10 million.
worldwide.
Wow.
I don't have any more notes. So.
I have a couple things. When they go to the Leche de Madre,
yes,
and she goes, "What's
milk.
that?" He goes, "Mother's milk," and Michelle goes, "MM," and I was like, I didn't even know you were paying attention, but she picked up a boys reference in the middle of
It's also
Romance
a
in the
Chili
Stone.
Pepper album name.
Oh, you're right. Yes,
that's
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah.
The car when it's in the water and she's steering, and he's like, "Don't steer, you're
He's
not
like,
going
"What are you
anywhere."
steering in?
I was like, anybody would naturally
Yeah.
try to steer
That's just
the
like when
car,
you're
even
sitting
though.
as a passenger. Sometimes you hit the brake. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
when it goes over the falls, it is over the falls, and then they're like, "Jump!"
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that thing is halfway down by the
Yeah.
time they've decided to jump. All of Zola's guys in that last scene when they're in the fort, castle, wherever they are, that
Yeah.
last scene, it's nighttime out. They're inside. They're underneath. They're all wearing sunglasses. They're all wearing sunglasses. I was like, is that guy wearing sunglasses? I'm like, oh, they're all wearing sunglasses. I'm like, what? Like, they're terrible shots, and they're not helping themselves by wearing sunglasses at night inside.
Yeah.
Like Corey Hart said, you don't wear sunglasses inside at night.
Great song.
And let's see, the only other things I have is that Zola died by being burned in the face, dehanded, and then set on fire. And then I was like, then eaten by crocodiles. I'm like, that's not a way for anybody to go.
No.
And he went bad.
No.
And and did Michael Douglas go around cutting up crocodiles like every
Until he found the right one?
Until he found
Yeah.
the one with the gem in it.
Can we
he said
talk
that-
about how long he was holding on to a crocodile?
Yeah.
That was like 10-foot crocodile he was holding on to.
Yeah.
Well, he
No
had,
way.
the, he had the
Come on.
leverage. He
I'm
could
sorry.
put his feet on the.
There's no way. Come on.
No way.
Let's
man.
get to. Do you have any more notes there, Dan?
No. No, I do not.
You want to kick off the scores?
Sure. Well, I'll tell
you
you
get
what
one with
Tara.
Tara?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle watched it with me, but was not paying attention. So
Yeah, Tara got up a couple times and said, "Don't pause." So
I actually got up once and didn't pause it.
Yeah.
But I've seen this movie a lot.
she gave it a 62.
62 from Tara.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave it a 65.
Ena gives it a 65.
I will never watch it again. I don't think it was terrible. I think about other movies I gave a 65 to that I thought were bad. I don't think this one was bad. But it was just boring and I don't know. It's not what I remembered from when I was a kid.
I also gave it a 65. I had fond
I thought
memories
you
of
would've
this
given it a
movie.
higher score.
Yeah, I saw this in the theater when I was 13 or 14 years old. I really had fond memories of it.
Yeah.
But then when I think back on it, I had such fond memories of this. I've never seen The Jewel in the Nile. Like, I wasn't so invested in this
Yeah.
movie
War
that
of the
I went-
Roses?
I've seen War of the Roses, yeah. But, I didn't even care about the sequel to this movie. So, obviously, I didn't care about the movie that much. But I enjoyed this movie enough where I'll probably never watch it again because
No.
why would I ever watch
God,
this
no.
again? But if it was on, maybe I wouldn't turn it off. Like, it was just on, TBS in the afternoon. Maybe I'd be like, oh, Romance in the Stone. Not this year.
Yeah.
Not in a year that starts with a 2020-something. But maybe
Yeah.
in 2030-something, if Romance in the Stone's on,
You'll
I
forget.
might stop and be
Just
like,
pull up this
okay.
podcast and remind yourself.
I didn't like this movie. I expected more from Robert Zemeckis. I really did.
Well, this was early in his
Even though it's
career,
early in his
so-
career, but still, I
Yeah.
expected more from
And
him.
he didn't write it, so I don't know.
I give it a 42.
Ooh,
I'll
okay.
never watch it again, even if it is 2030 something. I don't plan to watch it again. I feel we wasted this week with so many movies in 1984.
Well,
we
Well,
ruined this
do you
week.
think
Put a
in
list together.
1980 or next year we'll watch Jewel of the Nile? Will you want to watch that
No.
based on how bad this one is?
It's almost as if someone has to take a list from movies from 1984 and put them together and say we were doing them in these slots right here.
if you can put it in a spreadsheet,
Well, I
not
thought
Google Docs.
you picked that one out. I thought you were excited to do it. I really thought you
I
really
was
liked
excited.
it.
I was
yeah,
excited
me
to do
too.
this.
I honestly was too because of the memory I have from 40 years ago.
I really,
when I watched
I
this.
thought this was much more adventure than
Yeah,
rom-com.
me too.
I was kind of
Yeah.
halfway through the movie, I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
And I knew the beats that were going to happen. I knew what was going to happen, but I was like,
And surprisingly, the only scene I remembered, although I knew I watched this, was them going down the mudslide. I remembered that, and I know I've seen it, but I didn't remember anything else.
interesting.
Yeah, so I
remembered-
wonder if my memories are from Jewel of the Nile. If I saw that more
That's
times,
interesting.
but
Like I said, I've never
we'll
seen
know
that.
in a year.
I was a little shocked with Danny DeVito's racism and homophobia with some of his terms that he used in this movie.
Really? What? I don't remember.
Well, he said, as a Spanish person, I'll say he said "spico" at one point.
He did.
Oh,
"I'm
he
Spanish."
did? I missed that.
And he used the Spanish phrase for a gay man when he was talking to his brother. He's like, I don't know, she likes guys, so do you. Bop, bop, bop.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Okay.
And I remember when I was like 13 or 14 in the theater and I saw this movie and I was like, what the hell's that word?
Yeah.
And then once I started working with Spanish guys in the 90s and they used that word all the time, I was
okay.
like, hey, that's that word from Romance in the Stone. What are you
Because you couldn't
saying?
Google it back then.
No.
Funny, little funny story here. A friend of the podcast, Zach, texted me the other day and said, found another movie that you guys never heard of, but I had heard of it.
Oh.
And we're doing it this year.
Oh.
We are?
Was it already on, was it one of
it's
the ones you already put
Hot
down?
Dog the movie.
Oh, I love Hot Dog the movie.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's already on our list. I was excited.
I've heard you guys mention
Yep.
it before. I never saw it.
So that's on our list, but I thought that was funny.
Should we do that like with Zach next week? I mean, it's
No, Zach wants to do Firstborn when we do that one. He already picked that movie out that he wants to do that one. It's
We can still do
we
hot
can do
dog.
Or him, but we'll do Hot Dog the movie with him as well when we get to
Okay.
that one. Yeah. But what do we want to do for?
I don't know.
That's
I have
what
to
I
look
said.
at the
We
list.
we could just do Hot Dog now. Like that's a
Well, since
funny
we're gonna have
movie.
Zach on for Firstborn, let's do Hot Dog a little later.
Okay.
Let's do.
I didn't know Firstborn was like on the.
Yeah, he's talked about it a
List
couple
already.
times.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got Spinal Tap. We could. I'll save the horror, so we don't want to do like Children of the Corn. We got Splash,
Okay.
Suburbia, Break-In, 16 Candles.
Is Suburbia the
Star
one?
Trek 3.
The punk movie, right? The music, like
Pope at Greenwich Village, Rhinestone.
Fleas in
we
it?
could do
Is Flea in it?
Rhinestone.
I don't know Suburbia. I don't know that movie.
I saw a
It is
movie
a
called
punk
Suburbia with
movie, yeah.
fleas in it. Okay.
We could do Rhinestone next week. Top Secret, Bachelor Party,
Top Secret Bachelor Party. Oh my
Meatballs
god.
2,
Shit, someone was telling me.
Red Dawn, Sheena.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oxford Blues.
Let's figure it out.
Let's pick
tomorrow.
it now. Oh, you don't want to do
No,
it now?
because I want to look, right? You want
you
to
wanna
look
look
and
at the
think
list?
about it?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's
All right,
fine.
I'll let you look at the
Okay.
list then.
So it'll be a surprise next week.
At least so that we can go. We don't want to do all the good movies right away, right? And
Definitely
then get stuck
not.
with a bunch of shit.
I think we should.
Well, we got a lot to choose from, so you
Yeah.
can pick a really good one for
Okay.
next week if you want.
Okay.
Dana,
Cool.
you pick out next. I'll let
There's like
you
90,
okay with Dana picking out
90
next week's?
Of course.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
You pick out next week's.
All right.
It's all on you, Dana.
Did you have anything else for this movie? I don't have anything else for this one, do you?
I do not.
Nope.
All right, so let's wrap this one up. I'm glad we got this much out of it. Download, rate, subscribe, review, do all those fun things. We're the exciting new podcast on all our socials. I'm the Jazoo over there on Instagram, Jazoo74 on Twitter. This has been the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
AEGonzo1 on Instagram, AEGonzo1970 on Twitter. I hope you like all those new images we uploaded to the website since we
right.
updated it finally. I'm Andy.
Dana Caps on TikTok and Twitter. Dana Caps77 on Instagram. I'm Dana.
See you next week.
What movie will it be?